All right, we're gonna play some Dragon Age Veilguard today, but before we do, Kingdom Come Deliverance has a live stream that they did the other day that I did not know about. I guess it only went live on their Twitch channel. Somehow I missed it. They published it this morning on their YouTube channel, and they said that they have another live stream coming on Tuesday that's going to be airing at like 10 a.m. my time, I think. So I'm going to bookmark that one. And on Tuesday, let me double check the date. I don't think Tuesday is the 20th. If Tuesday's the 20th, I can't because we have Stalker 2 kicking off. But no, Wednesday is the 20th. Ooh. We've got a new video up from GSC Game World on Stalker 2, which we may have to go check out later on today. Anyway, so Tuesday there's apparently another live stream from the Kingdom Come Deliverance II dev team. So we're going to watch that one live together. Since I missed that one live when this aired, since it's aired on their YouTube channel as of this morning, we're going to go ahead and watch this. It's about 2 hours long. So this is going to be the beginning part of the stream today. We're going to watch the Kingdom Come Deliverance II live stream. And then we're going to transition into Dragon Age the Veilguard. And yes, I love using the word transition there because it triggers all the man babies.
Hello, long time no see. It's nice to be back. It's nice to have you around. I hope everyone can see and hear us. The music is still a tiny little bit quiet in the background. Let us know if
Sounds good to me.
Good as is. Oh boy, this has been a fucking long time. Oh god, I said the F word right in the first minute.
Welcome to my world.
I guess. We are very happy that you're with us today. Victor and I will show you a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Actually, we will show you what we've shown press before. So maybe some parts you have seen already in some articles or something, or in some previews. However, now we will play it together. And of course, feel free to ask your questions, everything you are interested in. Feel free to shoot it right at us. As you know, none of us is a pro streamer here, so we are trying really hard to see your questions and to react to stuff. I think it will be pretty difficult, but still, we will try really hard. So prepare your questions if you have any, and let's go through the game together. And first, before we even start, I would like to introduce you to Victor, who you might have seen already if you've seen the announcement of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in June, I think it was. I hope you saw it. If you haven't, shame on you. But on the other hand, I don't think you would have been here if you wouldn't have seen it.
That's true.
But Victor is the art director at Warhorse Studios, and Victor, maybe tell us a few words. Who are you? How long are you in the team? And what's your what does an art what's your job? What does an art director do?
Yeah, I'm here since the beginning of KCD2. So I started as a director directly on this project, and yeah, I'm responsible for everything art related in the game, excluding music, which is done by Genius himself. So he doesn't need any director. Otherwise, everything you see in the game that somehow needs to be goes through my direction and my supervision.
And I think music is art of visuals is actually a good point, because arts and visuals, well, first of all, it's your job, of course, to get those right. But today we will do a tiny little tour together through the wonderful city of Kuttenberg. Now I'm back again from below the table. I was just taking a controller, so playing on controller. Toby recommends playing on controller.
That's how I'm going to be playing.
So, absolutely legit. And we will go together today to the wonderful city of Kutna Hora. We will try, I guess, let's try and maybe 1.5 hour stream or so. Let's see how far we go and how far we get, and if you want to see and hear more. But let us start right at the beginning of our little stream today, of our little demo today. Of course, there's already people asking about the collector's edition. That's a very good point, by the way. First of all, the two of us created the collector's edition, so if you like it, congrats to us. So I'm very proud of the collector's edition. The downside is that it was so successful that unfortunately it's sold out everywhere on the planet except the United States. So maybe somewhere else, but I think especially in the United States, if you don't have the game yet, if you don't have the collector's edition yet, go there. It's I think on GameSpot. It's on for the consoles and on Final Boss Bundle, something like that. That's where the PC version is. But go on the KCD homepage, KingdomComeRPG.com. That's where you find all the greatest and latest and greatest. However, downside is, unfortunately, collector's editions are gone. That is very sad. And
That is,
trust me,
there's a
it
dot.
hurts my heart
I don't
so
remember a
much
dot
for
in the
years,
first
but
game. Do you guys see that right there?
The collector's edition was gone so quickly.
I need to go back and check
Probably
my footage
underestimated
from
it,
the
but,
first game. I do
doesn't
not
matter at the end
remember
of the day. I mean, some lucky
a
guys got
crosshair
it,
dot in the middle.
and maybe, just maybe, there's a chance for you to find it somewhere on the internet. PS, I do not support scrappers, how they are called, the ones that
Scalpers,
are reselling
yeah.
the stuff. Don't go to them. Just don't make them happy. But yeah, who
I won-
knows?
I wonder if
Let's
this means
say,
we're gonna have a dot
if you know
for the
Warhorse
bow.
Studios, we have a lot of merchandise generally planned. So there will be, for instance, an art book, a very big art book coming at some point. We will have vinyl and so on. But these things are all coming later down the road. So there will be plenty of opportunities for you to.
You see the
actually,
rat running by?
get something.
Sound of the
in your
hammer and
hands.
the anvil.
So, Victor, Kutna Hora. Where are we? What's that?
We are in the center of it almost, in one of the richest part of the city. Like you can see from the map that those outskirts and houses around the city walls are there. That's where the cheaper houses are and poor people live, and the center we are in, it's where all the wealthy merchants and nobility of the city have.
What's up, Egna?
Their big stone houses.
So I have to tell you, like, I might be very biased, of course, since I work at Warhorse, but this map, holy moly, look at all those details here. And I like the fact that even those maps are actually telling a little story. So if you look at them just long enough, you will find Easter eggs, you will find hints, you will see plot parts, you see someone is obviously stealing something here. There's some, this could be the what's
Yes,
it?
yes.
Italian court. This could be the Italian court. There's
Where
a
the money are
exactly
minted.
where the money is minted. This is like some miners. There's a miner's butt, and you see all the tiny little features, which I think makes this, again, it's a tiny detail, but I think KCD is a lot about those details. That's what makes the game such a great thing. But how do you approach with maps like this? Do you I guess you take like real references, or
Yes, like these are really nice work to do at the end of the project. When we need to create this map, you need to have the city already built, so you know exactly what you are drawing. But interesting thing is those small funny elements and small funny moments. It's not there just because we think it's cool and it's funny, but it's also illustrating mentality of those medieval people, how they are. So they were having this kind of humor as well, and it's readily all over the books and manuscripts, and you can really find them in different ways. So we are just trying to tune with the mentality of those people, think about how they could perceive the world, how they were making jokes and so on, and then we are kind of approaching whatever we do with the same like worldview, with a similar mentality. So
that's very interesting. Now let's talk to this wonderful fellow here, Menhard from Frankfurt. Actually, some backstory. Menhard is trying to build up a fighting school here. However, he gets into trouble. And we will today play this tiny little side quest. I say tiny little, but what I mean it's a huge side quest. So let's take a look.
There's nothing wrong with tiny little huge side quests.
Ein Meister des Langschwerts aus Frankfurt. You will not find ein besser Meister for miles around, I tell you. And with whom do I have die Ehre? Who are you?
Henry. I'm pleased to meet you.
Heinrich.
This German guy
Sehr
here.
schön.
So he talks this funny. In Germany we say Denglish, which is like German English. He's German. He came to town and he. So for those who know Bohemia by that time, or especially like places like this one, were actually pretty crowded with people from all over the Holy Roman Empire, Italians, French, Germans, Luxembourg, and so on and so on. So they were all roaming the places, and especially here in Kuttenberg. Because, as Victor was already mentioning,
people to duels on the street.
Kuttenberg had it's called Vaskidvur, or Italian court, and the Italian court is something like, think of it like the central bank of Bohemia. So that's the place where not only the money, the groschen, was minted, but also where the money was stashed. So naturally, a place like that attracts a lot of wealthy people, but also people who want to benefit from a place like that or wealth like that.
Makes sense.
I issue challenges to duels. I'm looking for
Morning,
a brave
Benjamin.
man to take them on as Studenten. The rest I want to prove cowards.
So he's, as I said, he wants to open a sword fighting school, and
you
we
really the
will
best swordsman?
accept the challenge from him
Richtig.
and
No man is besser. Certainly not
go
the
into a little
Kuttenberger
sword
Fechter
fighting.
who
This will
fought
also
to
show
call
you
themselves
the combat
Meister.
system of Kingdom Come Deliverance,
I am
which is
the
something
only
that
true
we
Meister here.
reworked
If you
quite a
do not
lot,
believe me, try me.
but not too much,
I
if
challenge
I can
you
say
to
it
a
like
duel
that.
mit
So what I mean by
Langschwertern.
this is that the combat system of KCD is still the combat system of KCD. It stays the same.
At least we'll see if you're telling the truth or just puffing out your chest.
It stays the same, but
Wunderbar.
it is
I always like a good
improved in a
Kampf.
way that
But the
that we
Schwerter
try
will
to
be
make
blunt,
it
yeah?
more accessible,
We do
more
not want to
interesting,
lose
That's
our
all
handsome
good.
faces,
playable. What I
More
mean by that is
accessible and
I'll
playable
let you
is good.
entscheiden. Aber kein
the
Harnisch.
weapons should now
No
play and
armor,
feel differently.
only
The sword
clothing.
is still the intricate,
That is
deep
the best
weapon that
Kampf.
requires a lot of skill from you. Can do the combos and everything, the tricks. But if you want a more straightforward, easier bonk on the head method, then you just go with a mace or an axe, which has a easier way how to use it, but
training swords.
equally
No armor.
successful, of course.
Works for
Still,
me.
there's the
How
stone, paper,
about
scissors system,
eine
so
Wette?
the right weapon works
Wette?
against the right type of
Ah,
armor. But
Sagt man das,
yeah,
bet
the
for some
movements
groschen,
have
yeah?
changed quite a little bit.
If you believe in
And
yourself.
this, when you do the perfect block, for instance, you don't do the animation, the
Master strikes.
no, the how do you call it when the time goes slower? Slow
Oh,
motion. The
slow
slow
motion.
motion is not happening anymore. Okay, we should not talk over the NPC. Sorry.
Naturally.
Somebody
Not
called
gonna
him
work
on
up
it.
a sweat
That's
for
funny.
nothing, right? A nice wager will bring some tension into it.
Good, good.
It's their. I think this
I
is one of their
like your
first times doing a live stream of their game,
We have
so it's
spoken
interesting
enough. Let
to
us
see
do
their
it.
Twitch community be like, "Hey guys, stop talking over the NPCs."
Combat, as I said, still the same basics with the different direction. You can see that instead of the bottom left and right, we have one direction at the bottom, but this one is actually stabbing. So stabbing is not a button anymore, but it's when you aim downwards. But let's do this little thing.
So, Heinrich, are you ready?
And we have this chatting thing. We can directly talk to them.
Yeah,
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. The enemy is after me. Okay. Show me your skill, bro.
We defended us!
Zack. Dude. Ah, that's my moment. So the thing is, it's still a very stamina-driven combat. So as long as you have stamina, that long you can attack and block. Of course, if you change the directions as I do now, oh, he dodged. Very good. If you do that, then he will have a way harder time to block. Of course. So directions do matter quite a lot. And as
Nice.
you can see, I won. Hooray!
That's enough! You know full well you've no right to conduct the art of sword fighting here. That's the privilege of our brotherhood.
Halt die Klappe. I am Meister of Longsword. You well know this right we have from the charter of your King Wenzel himself.
Meister Menhart, let me remind you that your petition was discussed by the town council, and your claim was rejected.
That decision was not just, and it went against the will of your king.
It's no use arguing, Deutscher. The council represents the king, and the council has decided in his name. Nicholas of Prague here is also a master longswordsman, and we don't need another. Any more than we need your foreign poses.
All right then. So I will face your Nikolaus or any other man. We shall see then who's der wahre Meister and who is just full of hot air.
I'm ready when you are, Master Menhart.
No, I forbid any dueling here.
Master Nicholas, do not allow yourself to be provoked by this German cock-baiting.
God, I love the
No doubt where they
costuming.
come from, they would rather hack each other in the streets than respect law and order. But here, we have more sense and dignity. If anyone is to clash swords here, it will only be when our brotherhood convenes a tournament, not when some Hundsfott feels like it.
Fick dich, du Metzgerschwein. Enough of this, all of you. The council has decided this matter, and I won't waste any more time with your squabbling.
Squabbling like hens.
You've infringed on our regulations, and it's not the first time. You'll pay a fine.
Scheiße. That is ungerecht. Not just.
And you will be banished from the town, so that nothing like this happens again.
Okay, so as you can see, things are going downwards, and we have a persuasion system that is way deeper than it was before.
Oh yeah, because
You
it's
can
way
now
more than just
see,
speech and charisma.
Speech, charisma, and might, and the counterparts, right? Domination, dread, and so on. So they are kind of working a little bit like yin and yang, positive, negative, kind of. Might, here, mighty knights lead a good life, and so on. Dread shows that the weapon at your hip isn't just for decoration, and so on. So you can either try to use persuasion in a good way or in a
Just
negative
like intimidation.
way to get to the end or to get to what you're trying to achieve. And it again works as in KCD1. So you can have better stats, but it also depends a lot on the situation, on your clothes, on the where you are and who you talk to, and so on. Okie dokie. Some decisions are timed. I am a super buffed Henry right now, so it really doesn't matter at this moment. So Menhard is a friend of our King Wenceslav. I think
Councillor, Menhard and
that's a
Arn
nice thing.
are friends of our good King Wenceslas. That's why they have his charter, isn't it? You don't want to treat someone of that stature like a common criminal, a troublemaker.
He's all splattered with
Show
blood
them
from
the
the
courtesy
duel.
they deserve.
That's
Fuck
cool.
courtesy. To the pillory with them.
Trampling their honor and dignity underfoot is the same as trampling on the honor and dignity of our king.
Easy, Master Butcher. Kindly leave this matter to me. So, Master
Henry.
Henry here is right in some respects. You have a charter from King Wenceslas, which, in truth, I cannot simply ignore. You will not be banished from the town, but I warn you, should this be repeated again, it will not be overlooked.
Ich verstehe, Ratsherr. Yes.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Nevertheless, you have actually been conducting the art of sword fighting illicitly. You shall therefore pay a fine, to which the Kutenberg Sword Fighting Brotherhood will be entitled for the infringement of their right.
Fuck
which
that.
also applies to your eloquent spokesman, Henry.
He didn't break any laws.
I think he didn't break any law.
Councillor, that would be all well and good if things were as you say. But that's not actually how it is. Because Meister Menhard here was not conducting any sword fighting art.
Horseshit! What else would you be meeting up here with swords for, eh?
If he had actually been conducting the art of sword fighting, but Master Menhard here was only defending his honor in a duel because I wronged him.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
we're
is
watching
true.
the Kingdom Come Deliverance
Every
live
man
stream from
has
the other
the
day. They
right to
posted it
defend
this
his
morning,
honor.
so we're watching
But
it this
tell
morning
me,
first, and then we're gonna go play
How
Dragon Age.
exactly did you offend Master Menhard so inexcusably that it came to swords?
Okay, now guys, quickly. We insulted his art, seduced his daughter, killed his dog, slandered him, cheated him, or cheated him at dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Be quick. Quickly.
I slandered
quickly.
him.
1, dice, 1.
It's a daughter.
Daughter?
I seduced his lovely daughter. I'm not going to tell you everything I did to her, though.
Du Tier! Ich werde deinen Schwanz abhacken!
Well, he doesn't like that
Well,
much.
It seems Henry's tongue isn't the only organ he likes to exercise.
But
That's what Ulrika said, too. In between moaning.
Halt die Klappe! I will cut off your Schwanz and shove it down your throat!
I understand, Menhard. You're in the right. Do what you want with Henry, but not here. Take him off somewhere into the
You
woods.
guys are monsters. Now, Menhard is angry and Henry is a seducer.
Komm, Heinrich! We are lodging in the Schenke Kaiser Karl, not far from here on Merchantstraße. We will discuss our business there.
Okay, so the quest continues. We will continue a little later. So, of course, I saw your questions. As I said, I'm not so fast in reading, so sorry for that. Let me go through a few things. So, first of all, this build we are playing is a tiny little bit older, so it's from Gamescom. And you can already see what a great state that game is. Gamescom was in August, right? We are now in November, so there's months of
yeah, and this one looks much more
bug
detailed,
fixing
just
and,
Dan.
Optimization going
What's up,
on.
Thunder?
And as you can see already, I strongly believe that the game runs extremely well. The thing that Henry is blonde, that's a bug, obviously. He is not supposed to have that. Just happens when you have this particular hat on his head. So don't worry, Henry is still the same Henry, but the hairstyles, of course, is let's say modernized. Not modernized by modern standards, but modernized like he looks a little bit different, better than he did in KCD1, which is due to the technology being better that we're using. So it's not like he aged or something. It's just the tech we are using is so much more advanced than before. Well, it's still the same CryEngine, but the way how we use it and the way how we utilize it and the way how we use every inch and pinch just makes him and everything else look so much better. So
And like the whole plotting system was redone basically from the scratch. So we wanted to keep still the layering, still the nice combinations, and it needs to work for Henry as well as NPC. So you can use the cloth of the people, Europe or whatever. But the system behind it is going to be the same as all the technology behind the faces and hair and so on.
So don't worry, the combat will not be easier per se. When I say
I'm in
make it easier, oh,
So no messing about. Got it?
who are you? Where are you? Him? Okay.
Don't worry. I'm a saint.
So that's the chat system I was mentioning earlier. So people are randomly talking to you, but they're not locking you into a speech or in a dialogue, which is pretty cool. I think.
That's kind of like
What I
Red Dead
mentioned
Redemption
earlier,
2.
I forgot what I wanted. Easier. So the game is not, the combat is not easier at all. It's still the absolute same system it was before. The only thing we are changing is that the weapons play differently. So the sword will be still the same sword gameplay as you know from KCD1. But if you as a player say, hey, I didn't enjoy that, that's not my, I don't want to do that, then you can use different weapons that will play differently and therefore give you a different feeling. So it's not easier or dumbed down or something like that. It's just, yeah, we enhanced it, if you want to call it, if you like that word more.
The learning curve is different.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Okay, so Kutna Hora, it's a real medieval city, as a matter of fact. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and we rebuilt it into the year 1403. You can visit it today, the town.
That was the
you
live
can
action video
visit
they
it today,
dropped,
of course,
which was awesome.
But it doesn't look exactly the same how it does right now. You had to do a lot of work to make it look this way, right?
Keep close to the edge.
Yeah, in a way you say a lot. It's probably way more than people can imagine. It's I'm always saying it's we are really shooting ourselves in the leg. It's like the amount of work you would do for any game, and then you add this whole research and kind of historical, almost scientific approach to it.
Well, they've
so
done that very well with the
people-
Assassin's
there are
Creed games
basically
with
people who don't,
Origins,
do
Odyssey, and
anything else
Valhalla.
than specializing on medieval architecture, for example. So we have one guy who is like expert in medieval architecture, and that's the whole process is that much difficult because of that. It's almost insane. It's really something which we have tough time to, but we love it. So it's you know, we wouldn't do it otherwise. But sometimes it's getting really complicated.
But the advantage is also, so of course, if you build a medieval city, a fantasy city, you can just build it exactly as you need, which is an advantage for you. You can create the buildings exactly as you need them in the game. If you have a real city like that, you have to work with real data. Oh, the shop is closed, unfortunately. Can't show you the weapon shop. So this means that we have to take the historical data, and it's really nice that the city of Kutna Hora is actually working close together with us. Trying to when they found out that KCD2 will take place in Kutna Hora, they were actually very, very excited. I don't know if you know, but KCD is kind of a big deal here in Czech Republic. So that's pretty cool.
Can you turn it around?
Yes, of course.
This is one of the things, for example, like when people, you introduce them, you are building medieval city, most of the people will be really imagining those narrow, curvy streets. And for example, here we got, even inside the team, a lot of impression was this is too wide. Why it's too wide and straight, huge street. This is not feeling medieval. But the layout of the buildings on the street is basically based on the archaeological research. So we know a lot of buildings, it's not standing these days, but we know where the basements of those medieval houses were. So we use the map of those documented basements, which are, and then on this layout we built a lot of the city. It was really a big help, for example, in looking for the layout of the city itself.
Yeah, they are fighting. We don't want to get involved. Excuse me, let me go through, and we will continue with the quest and talk to Menhard here. Hello, because he wants us to wait in the Pup of Charles IV. Is that the Pup of Charles IV?
Yes.
Emperor Charles, which we can of course see by this picture. Oh yeah, I said that earlier. The game is the build is from August. Sorry, July, August. So of course there's a few visual bugs here, but as I said, absolutely don't worry. We put a lot of effort and hard energy to optimize it and make it as smooth as possible.
I only said it so they'd get off our backs, you know.
Ich weiß. But you should have thought of something anderes. Zum Teufel, you made me a big shame. I will have to fix this for my good name.
Sorry. I just said the first thing that came into my mind.
Ja, aber do not do it again. Klar?
Klar.
Gut. Auf jeden Fall, thank you for standing up for us and dealing with Fridush. We appreciate that. Be assured. It is good we do not have to leave the town or pay any geld to those fools. That would be eine Schande. A disgrace. Auf jeden Fall. It is not over yet with those Kuttenberger.
The atmosphere is wicked. Yeah.
Somehow compete.
Well, that's what you get when you actually have a team dedicated to pulling up archaeological evidence to recreate a city as opposed to just making a fantasy city from scratch.
Can be rejected and humiliated.
Richtig. Es muss Gerechtigkeit geben.
Listen, Menhard. Tell me what it's all about. You have some charter from King Wenceslas.
Ja, genau.
I think it's enough if he tells us briefly, right? There's a lot of things we have to go through.
Yes.
Or do you want to? Nah.
Just the bare bones.
Decisions.
So I know what I'm getting into.
Klar. I have a charter from King Wenzel to set up here and lead a Bruderschaft der Fechter. Aber the Kuttenbergers invited Meister Nikolaus aus Prague and set up their own Bruderschaft. And the Stadtrat confirmed it and rejected our right. Vielleicht because Sigismund is here and King Wenzel is captured. And also the Metzger Emmeram has much influence.
All right, so that makes sense. So the
That is
king who
why
gave
I muss
him
mich duellieren with Nikolaus and the anderen to defend my guten Ruf and mein Recht.
the charter is
Aber
captured right now.
they
So
have refused, made cowardly excuses, and want to get rid of uns.
But our right remains. The Charta vom König Wenzel spricht klar.
Ja, we cannot just walk away and allow this öffentliche shame to continue.
Menhard, ich habe dis Idee. Aber Problem ist, we need a third man. Aber jetzt Schicksalsmeise.
I like how it's like
Und
mixed
Heinrich ist hier.
German and
Verstanden.
English, so we're getting
Heinrich
bits
will
and
greifen
pieces,
us an der Arme.
which is what
Ein
Henry would be
einfacher
getting.
kleiner Einbruch, and we will beat them in their own game.
What's he saying?
We need your help, Heinrich. You will have to do a little theft for us. It is an easy job, keine Sorge.
Yeah, I mean, since we started the quest already, right? We'll help him. Good old Manhart. By the way, I saw in the chat that you like his German English. It's really amusing for myself as well.
All right. I have a feeling you're in the right. And besides, you serve King Wenceslas. You can count on me.
Wunderbar.
Also zugestimmt? You will not be sorry. I will teach you many secrets of die Kunst des Schwertes. I will make you a great Fechter. Arne, lass es uns hören.
Also, es ist einfach. You must into der Fechthalle einbrechen und ihr Gildenschwert stehlen and then hang it am Rathaus.
Menhard?
Explain it.
You must break into their sword-fighting hall and steal their Gildenschwert. Guild sword. They must not see you. You can recognize the sword sicher. It is surely a Meisterwerk. Then you must hang it on the Rathaus for alle Bürger to see. But no one must see you. Vielleicht it is best to go at night? Verstehst du?
Verstehst du? So this thing here on the left is one of the skills, right? So if and as I said, we have a pretty high level up Henry right now, so we go for that one. Sometimes when you go through skill checks, it's not only the let's say hard skills like speech, intimidation, and so on, but also sometimes but it was in KCD1 already when you learned
The books, the language.
perks, for instance, then you could use them in speech as well.
I'm starting to understand your plan. The Kuttenberg swordsmen display their guild sword on the town hall to announce that they're accepting challenges, right? Except they would never do that themselves. So, we'll give them a little nudge. They won't be able to back down, and Menhard will get the duel he wants.
Exactly, Heinrich. I see you know a lot about Fechter traditions. That makes me happy.
All right, I'll steal their guild and shirt and hang it on the town hall. Klar.
Wunderbar. The main thing is they must not see you. And if anything goes wrong, do not kill anyone. That would spoil our plan.
Yeah. Murder can make things awkward.
Gut.
Murder makes
Agreed.
things awkward.
When it is fertig, come and tell me.
Great comment, random text. I love stealing. So, we got a quest. Our task is now to go and steal the sword, the ceremonial sword from the other sword fighting school. I saw a lot of questions about the PC specs in the chat and also about DRM. So let's talk seriously for a second, okay? Guys, get ready. So first of all, PC specs, okay? That is something that is always being made in the end of development, right? So first you create the game, put everything in there you can, and in the end you are trying extremely hard to get rid of the bugs and to optimize it on all the hardware possible. There's a minimum, there's a maximum, you know that of course. Right now, as I said, we are deep into optimizations and bug fixing. I'm extremely positive about the performance of the game and also about the state of the game if you're bothered with bugs or whatever. So we will tell you very soon. We are finishing it up right now. I can't tell you yet, but as you can see, this runs I think 80 frames per second right now, and I play on a decent PC of course, but it's maybe even 90. So that is pretty good, but I wouldn't be too worried, of course. And now the other part is...
And I think people will be really surprised what kind of PC can run it.
Yes, absolutely. So don't worry about that, right? So again, as I said, we learned not from the mistakes, but we learned from what we did in KCD1. We took way more time than in the first game for bug fixing, optimization, performance.
The first game when it
and so on and
launched,
so on and so on.
as
And we are
critically
working
acclaimed
on
as
this
it
right
was
now,
also a
and not
buggy
only on
hot
PC,
mess.
also on consoles
But it was
for
also
the
their
console
first
players,
game,
so there's
so
good news
they've
for
learned a
everyone.
lot
Give us
from
a
the
tiny
first
little bit
time,
more
it
time,
looks like.
but I think by the end of the year we should be able to tell you exactly what you should what you should get. I
Devon
personally
says
at home
KDC is one of the
play
best
on a
RPGs I've ever played. Thanks,
3050,
Ren,
I
for
think,
introducing me to this
and
one.
it
You're
runs
welcome.
butterly smooth, but
I had a great
as I
time in
said,
the first
give
one,
us some
but I am
time on
looking
performance,
forward to this one
on-
way
on,
more
uh,
because
on
this one is like a
testing, and,
refined
we will
version.
tell you soon.
So better
Okay, and now the
graphics,
other
better
thing is-
systems.
and let's give me a second here of your attention. So DRM, of course. So there's things floating here in the chat. There's things floating out in the internet. And many of those things are absolutely fake news. And you should be very careful with stuff you trust and see and take for bare coin. So I can tell you right now the exact situation. And the exact situation is that KCD2 will not have Denuvo in there or not have any DRM system at all. So we never confirmed it. There were some discussions, of course. There was some misalignment. There was some misinformation. But at the end of the day, there won't be any Denuvo at all. And with that, I would like you to close the case already. Stop texting under every post we do that Denuvo is in the game, because it's not. We never announced, we never said it will be there. As I said, bit of a misunderstanding. But as long, and that is something you should really remember. As long as Warhorse doesn't announce anything, it's not true. So we say the things once we say them, and once we say them, they are real and it's happening. That was with KCD2 the case, the announcement of KCD2. That will be with the specs, and that is, for instance, right now with the DRM. So let's bury that thing, and let's never ever talk about it anymore. And
Never ever talk about it
what
ever
we can
again.
talk about though is the game. So let's resume and continue. Okay, so we are still on our quest to get the sword.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Stealing is a tiny little bit easier at night, so I might rethink my move here. But first of all, let's go in during the day. Let's try it at least.
One of the things you can see here is, as we spoke with a German guy, but as we go through the city, now you can see the architecture is a little bit different. That's because we are getting into the
Greetings,
heavily German populated quarter. So this part of the city, a lot of the houses are built by Germans, and the architecture is a little bit different.
This is something that I don't think
It's such a
many
beautiful
North
game, really.
Americans can
I mean, again,
contemplate.
yes, I know I'm biased, but
Are
God damn
cities
it,
that have
looks-
hundreds to
that looks just
thousands of
amazing.
years of
And
age.
I'm really looking
So
forward
there are
for when
different
the game actually releases, and you guys
architectural
play it, and then you can visit
sections
the locations and go there and,
that go back hundreds and
compare it to the
potentially
game.
thousands of
course,
years
as I
based
said,
on
as
who
we said
was
earlier,
the
it is a
kingdom
tiny little bit different.
running
Oh,
the
and-
region
and
at
I
any
wanted
given
to go through
time.
the front door first, show you the.
So many of these
sword
great
fighting
European
floor. You can,
cities, which are
visit the
UNESCO
place. It
World
will
Heritage
be a little bit
sites,
difficult sometimes to recognize, but I
have
think
different
overall,
quarters based on the different architectural
It's really cool.
I think you could go to
times that were
Yeah, no, it's
dominating
too late.
those
I go through the
cities
streets,
at any given
rather.
period of their history. It's
Like,
fascinating
all
stuff.
the nice clothing here.
It's
have,
European
I think, generally
history.
also a bigger variation of clothing, faces, hairstyles, voices, and so on. So generally, when we said the game is bigger and better, I know it always sounds like a phrase, and probably it's also.
Why
a
would I
phrase,
find any
but,
negatives in the sequel?
It's
Tink?
actually true. So we enhanced everything we could.
What could I
and
possibly
tried to
glean
make it
from a preview
as nice as
video that would
possible.
lead me to
Houndswoman.
make negative comments
Huh.
about it? It all looks awesome.
This in front of us here is Haradek. It's
Why are
actually a
people
little-
always looking for negatives?
It's a garrison place or little castle thingy. In the
It's a video
inside of
game. It's a piece of
Gutenberg.
entertainment.
Yeah, of course,
You should be
since
happy
they
that it's
had,
coming. You should be
the
excited.
central bank here, they
You
needed
should want to have fun.
some-
You should be
some
looking
garnisons,
forward to
some-
having fun playing the
It's
game.
actually not like that. It's more like the palace.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Like the nobleman's. And
Come
it's
on,
also this
give us a
part of the city
negative.
on
We
the-
need you to be
on the
negative.
edge,
Give us some
on
rage
the top
bait.
of the
Fuck that.
riverbank.
I
You can
play
see
games for
here
fun.
This area, it's mostly like the palaces of nobility. The richest of the rich built those small
I know, it's
palaces for
ridiculous,
themselves.
Thindar. They expect rage bait reviews immediately.
Who? You?
Jesus.
Sure.
Go ahead and search me. I've got nothing to hide.
Close to the others. It's not safe.
Everything in order. Carry on.
Now I hope this doesn't happen once we have the stolen sword, because if they found contraband on us, we all
I wonder
know
if you
how
still
this
need
is going to end.
schnapps to save like you did in the first game.
I just briefly go outside maybe. There's several gates on Kutna Hora. All of them look completely different. For those Czech people among you, you might know what's here in front of us.
Jesus, listen to Tink in YouTube. It's
The
looking
huge
too good to
church
be
in
true.
Kutna Hora, which today is something like the...
Take that negative bullshit and get out of here. Don't want it here.
Yeah, let's say like the... How would you call it? Like the city's monument, kinda. It's a huge church, very beautiful. We shot our announcement video in there, but as you can see in the game, it's just being built at the moment. And we have this wonderful view here.
That's another aspect of this game, is if you can
Guy
see it, you can
walking
go
with
to
his
it, which I appreciate of games that do
thingy
the
there.
seamless.
All the smoke is coming from the mines, and of course it's a silver mining town, so expect an upper world.
This is their
kinda, and
PC
also
build, by the way.
Yeah, mining
From Gamescom, which was like
underground.
I think he said it was
which
the
we don't
July
want to
or
spoil
August
too much about
build.
it, but you can use it for your advantage, maybe for stealing.
Careful. God is punishing us for
Oh, there you go. For stealing or also questing and so on. So this will be pretty interesting. Right. I like how all the
I need to
buildings
go
look
watch my
different, how
gameplay
they're
from
all
the first
unique,
game.
how nothing
Devon,
is, like,
you're here right now. Does the first game have a
painted,
crosshair
and that
in the
is
middle of the
very
screen?
nice.
Because I don't
Anyway,
remember a
the dude
crosshair
who was
from my
actually
first
looking for us
playthrough,
or
but it was
checking us
a
out
while ago.
Is one of the guards.
Because they have a little
but
dot.
we
They have a
to
dot
go
in the middle
down
of the
here,
screen right
because
here,
this
and
is
you've
the
been
sword
playing
fighting
recently,
school,
so you might remember
and
better
that's the
than I
sword
do.
fighting
Like,
school we are supposed
is there a
to
dot in the middle of the screen in the first game?
infiltrate.
build up your body as well as your spirit.
Uh-huh. Look at that. He's actually a colleague. He's from the cutscene department, so some of the faces...
Welcome. What can I do for you?
I want to sword fight. No, I don't. I want to steal your sword, but I can't tell you. So, advantage of daylight. We can go in, and it will be all fine. It's not disallowed to be in here, so it's not a crime. If we go... But the inside here is the sword that we are trying to steal, but the disadvantage to go in during day is that, of course, all of them will be on their toes and they will see us if we
What's up,
will be
Babylonia?
trying to steal something. On the plus side is that all the doors are open, so when going in there,
You already got-
see,
yeah,
it's
you already
getting
got
tricky
shit-
already.
already
And we
got
see
caught.
the bunny on the top, which is also a new icon from the game. So when the bunny is there, it's something like it gives you a status of what you're supposed to do or where to be and not
Is
to
it
be.
necessary to
Bunny
play the
tells us
first
to
one?
F
Death Comet
off,
asks.
So we are
No.
Fing off right now.
But you'll understand
Um,
Henry's journey a little bit
and
better
it's
if you
fine
get the
already.
chance to play the
So
first game.
going in during day
But they're going to
might
give
be
you a
bit
recap
tricky,
on who
and
Henry is
that's
and
why
his position
let's try and sneak
from the first game.
in
But this is a completely
during the
different
night. But First of
story.
all, let me go here outside.
It
because
is a
if
sequel
if
to
I
the
time
first
skip here
game, so there
inside
are
that
characters
building,
that carry
they will, of
over,
course,
and there are
kick me
things
out
from
the
the first
moment
game
they
that,
feel like I shouldn't be there anymore.
you know, if you've played it, it'll make more
there you
sense,
go.
but you don't have to go play the first game.
Let's go. to the
Devon
night.
says there's no crosshair in the first game, so that dot looks to be new in this game.
So,
I'm very curious if they're going to show any crossbow
and
or
it's
bow
nighttime.
footage to see if
Hello,
if that
sir.
dot stays on screen
It's
when we're
night.
using
Remember that at
the
night
bow
you
and
must carry a
crossbow.
torch. Cool thing is that if you time skip to the night, then you will automatically equip a torch, so you don't get caught by a guard.
Because that was
while
tricky
time
in the
skipping.
first game,
That's
because
a bit
there
weird.
was never any dot or
Hop.
crossbow.
Let's
There's
go.
never any dot for the bow, I should say. There's
So,
no crossbow in the first game, but there's no
the
dot.
concept artists
and the
or
bow
your
sway is
department
real.
are the ones that are working closest with the historians, which is I think a pretty interesting information. Most people, when they hear concept, they think of people drawing orcs and elves, but you are the ones that
It's
are
extremely
closest.
realistic fighting.
In-house historian, of course, but you are she's
so
working with the others. But you
in
are
the
working
first
with
game in
the-
particular,
most of the,
don't go into
historical
the game
data.
expecting
Can
that
you
you're going to be able to
say
be good at
something
level
about
1.
that?
You're going to have to spend time at the sword trainer to get good.
What do you want to hear?
You're going to have to get
like there is,
spend time at the archery
it's
range
like
to
you
get
are
good at
saying,
archery.
And, it's one of the tough part for.
It's a
some
life
people who
sim.
are coming
Think about
into
that.
the
It's a
company
medieval
when
life
they
sim. It's not a standard
are really
RPG.
skilled draftsmen or
It's a medieval life
can
sim
paint really nicely, but then we ask them to
RPG.
really
So
dig deep.
you have to actually put in the
Fortunately,
time
you would do even the fantasy game.
get
The
good,
similar
to get
the
better.
approach would be similar. You do some research. You the kind of thinking about the stuff is, if you are doing it well, you do it similar as we do. It's not a huge difference, but we are.
Henry
kind
should
of
already be
bound
good at some things,
much
Babylonia.
more
Yeah,
to,
and they
respect
have talked
what
about that
we
earlier
learn
on in the
and,
video.
Like, don't
Like,
change the stuff just
The
because we
combat
think
is a
it's
little
looking
different in
cool.
this game because it's like
Yeah,
Henry's
that's the
already
biggest
gotten
challenge.
good
Like, you are not
through the first
always
game, so
allowed to do what you think
things
is
are a little
just
different
cool.
in this
You know,
game
it
in that
needs to be cool,
sense.
but also it needs to fit into the world.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
you have to learn how to
I think
read
That is also where we
things of that
sometimes
nature.
have to draw a line because, and that is very often I'm being asked like if realism isn't like a handicap or something, but you need to understand that we are not killing fun gameplay in order to make something super realistic but super boring or tedious or something. The point is that the realism part is something like the vessel or the toolbox or the techniques we are using, the story we are telling, the way how we write the dialogues, how we think about questing and so on. So that is not the issue. However, sometimes, mostly due to technical reasons, we have to bend reality a tiny little bit, and that is sometimes, for instance, that armor maybe is not maybe it's 100 years older or younger or whatever, and sometimes we say, hey, listen, it just fits so well into the setting we need it, or the streets of Kuttenberg aren't always exactly how they are in real life, because sometimes you just need that little twist and turns for the draw distances and so on.
But there are two things. First, with the armors, we are really trying to keep them as close as possible. So it's usually just the decision.
The Witcher 3 is going to be using Unreal 5, so it will probably look better than this, on par or better than. This is the Cry engine, which is an older engine than Unreal 5, and they've done a lot with the Cry engine, as we can see here. By the way, the lockpicking in the first game sucked balls on controller or mouse and keyboard, and I really hope that it's easier in this game, because oh my god, did lockpicking suck.
Nice pictures of armors and bash them together. But this is exactly what.
And lockpicking is very much until you get good at it. It just you're like breaking all your lockpicks and the dots moving all over the place.
We have like around the guy who was painting the icons for clothing system. He did basically like 3,000 icons for the clothing system. So there's a huge amount of assets we have just for the clothing system. So it's kind of. You will have, you will do some small mistakes on the way that's uninventable. But we are really trying to be as hard and looking for details and not forgiving ourselves to this bit. So, yeah. And the other thing with the streets, we are usually trying to find some other way, something which would make sense. So maybe it's not 100% like.
Was there a dude just over here?
Was, for example, but we always look for how it could be. We have maybe something similar in some different cities, maybe even in Germany. There is some similar.
There totally is.
In those cities, so
he's managing to sneak past them.
Get inspired by that.
That's a good point, because some of the stuff is destroyed already, so or just there's not so many things we can.
Sneaking looks like it's going to be much easier in this
going further,
second game. Although he did say he's buffed up, so his sneak skill might be just really high to show off the sneaking in the game. His lockpicking looked maxed out as well, because he lockpicked that first lock like butter, and it is not like that when you first do it for the first time.
The reason why I was going out, because there was this dude standing around in the room, which I was a tiny little bit afraid that he will spot us, but I'm too good of a master thief here, so let's go out.
I don't have a preference, Combi Fighter.
I got that sword.
I play the games however the developers want them to be. So if they give me a protagonist and they want me to play a protagonist, I'm happy to play the protagonist. If they give me a game where I can create my own character and I can have my own main character, I'm happy to do that as well. I have zero preference. I want to play the journey that I'm presented with.
I think really cool
I want to play different games. I want to have
quests
different
playing,
experiences.
and this was already part of KCD1, but we cranked up the volume again here for the second game. Quests do play different according to decisions and things you do in the game, in the questing. So I will tell you later about what would happen if they will caught us, if they would caught us. Or
I do
if we
not
would
want The
lose in
Witcher
the
4 to be
beginning
about Geralt,
against
though.
Menhard.
And I don't want Mass Effect 5 to be about Shepard.
But here's a very
I
interesting
want
church.
new games
can
in
you
those
tell us why
worlds
it has
with new
only
main
one tower?
characters.
Because it still has one tower today.
Yeah,
The
you
Geralt
can
story has
see
already been
it's
told. We don't
built
need
in
more
that,
Geralt.
that time, so you can see there's
We don't need more
all
Shepard.
around. They are just trying to build it, but that's you already kind of mentioned the reason before. The whole city is undermined, and it was not really.
Look at the birds.
It was dangerous to finish the tower. So when they found out, they just
Yeah, it didn't
decided
it
not
didn't
continue.
work that
So,
well. TNK.
It looks almost the same today.
It did
feel
not
like
work
there's
that
a
well to
pattern there.
simplify
The
the lockpicking.
Salva
I tried both
Monastery was
methods,
never
and it's still
finished.
I was not
this
very
church is
good at
never
it on the
finished.
PlayStation.
And even Barbara took a few centuries to finish, so it's
Yeah. Wonderful. But there's.
By
a
the way, guys,
battlement
this
up
is
there.
the live stream that
Can
they did the
you-
other day.
do
They
you know
just published
why
this on their
the
YouTube
church has
channel
a
today,
battlement
so
up
we're
there?
watching it live
Do you
this
know it?
morning.
I
They
know.
have another live
So the
stream on
reason
Twitch
why they
on
have a
Tuesday.
battlement is
We're going to be watching
it's
that
something
live
like a,
during our live
local,
stream, so
speaker, in a
stay
way.
tuned for that.
So, if you want to spread,
I
the
didn't know
message
this
really
one had
quickly
aired.
in
I
medieval
wasn't
times,
paying
you
attention,
can either
so
send the guards and
I don't know when
send
this one aired on
messengers
their
and so
Twitch
on.
channel, but they just
Or
published
if
it on
something is
YouTube
really
this
bad
morning.
territory, you go just on a very high vantage
We're going to go
point,
play Dragon
like
Age
this
after this, but this is like
church
an
here,
hour and a half long.
and there's
2 hours long,
shout it
excuse me.
down,
We're about
like,
an
"Hey,
hour
fire,"
in, so we still got
or
about an hour to
attack or
go.
whatever. So the battlement is not for protection, like to fight there, but it's just really just to be able to stand there and shout downwards. Show the inventory, please. Okay.
This is one of our
yeah, so now you can change it.
February games for next year. by the way.
Yeah. You want me to change the hat?
Yeah, remove it.
Okay. So now Henry's brown haired again. So yeah, the inventory got a big overhaul as well, as you can see. There's still a lot of information there, but I think they're way more.
No, I
on
definitely
point
see
than
the
they were
safer
before.
schnapps are still here, so
Um,
I'm willing to bet those are still going to be used
it
for
has
hard
everything
saves.
you need. The crafting is there, the skills is there, all with their little tiny sub things. You can see that polearms now has their own weapon skill tree kinda. So polearms are a thing in the game. Unarmed is a skill in the game. You can, for instance, if you have no weapon on in your hands, you can try to unarm or disarm the opponent. We have the different skills, of course. Here you go, survival, thievery, all the good stuff, and the missile weapons, the marksmanship, and so on. All the good things. Combos are in there, and everything you like. Kuttenberg, people of the forest.
And there was the question. In
5
the,
years
in
to the
chat
next
about
Mass
the
Effect
polearms,
game?
and you
No,
can
I
use
would
them
say
in
probably
the
3.
inventory and just carry them around and use them as regular weapons.
Which is something
I would say
a lot
3
of
to 5,
people
not 5 to 10.
wanted. You can craft stuff. You can have the codex as well, as always. So as I said, there's a lot of cool things. Again, this is a build from August, so this is not final quality, of course. We will.
I would probably call it closer to
expand
3
on a
years
lot of
than
things. We
5
will change
because
a lot
they've
of
already
things,
done quite a bit
but
of
I
work
think
already.
All in all, gives you already a good first touch, impression of the game. I personally love those little pictures here. Are they still existing, or did you come up with your own ideas, or how does that work?
There are some of them are being found around different cities in Bohemia. So they are maybe not this one on this house, but yeah, they are kind of legit, and we found mentioned a lot of mentions of them. And there is also some interesting stories about them, like this guy during the Hussite Wars. There were those different factions, and one rich man painted one of his favorite warlord on the wall, and then got really problem in the city council and needed to remove it later. So it was really popular, even to state political statement or something. You just put it your favorite site on the wall. And so.
There was also something like medieval graffiti, right? Well, let's not talk too much about it, but let's us just say that medieval graffiti will.
Yeah,
also,
exactly. ME5 was already in
play a role.
pre-production for
I
the last
also
several
like a
years,
lot the
so
coat
now
of
that they've
arms
moved
here,
over to full
and
production, I would say probably
statues.
3 years
It's
at
such
most.
a common, people are saying that everyone in the Middle Ages had black teeth and everything is gray and dark and ugly and I don't know what, but the reality of, well, in of course peaceful times and in rich areas was quite different. Of course, if people were wealthy, of course they wanted to show off. Of course they had nice clothes. Of course they wanted to show what they have and brag if they could and so on. So, and I especially like a lot this.
Oh, the
Now,
community
Hora with
reaction
all
to
the little
Mass
markets
Effect
here.
5 is going to be the
There's a
same
lot of
reaction to
different
Dragon Age
markets here
Veilguard.
on
It's
different
going to be
areas.
a bunch of content creators upset about stupid stuff,
Because,
and the rest of us are
so-
going to have
so
fun
KCD
playing it
has,
because we love
so the
BioWare.
Kutna Hora has how many markets? 4? 5? There's a horse market, there's a coal market, vegetable market, weapons market, and so on and so on. They all are on different locations and of course selling different stuff, which is also a historical fact because of course they didn't want to have the animals right next to the vegetables.
Reverse
and
Rage
so
Bait
on, and the
2.0?
coal is dirty,
Yes.
so it creates a lot of fuzz and so on. So it's quite cool, and I like these houses a lot here. It looks like an organ or something. Nice. All the shields.
They said the guy who did the logos
Nice.
did over 3,000 logos for
can't
this
take.
game. That's insane.
No stealing, sir. Anyway, let's go back to our quest. So, Menhard told us now to steal the sword. We did that. And now he wants us to hang the sword on the council hall, the city council hall, which is here. And as
It's
matter
a
of
lot
fact,
of
if you today
anything.
go to,
Drawing
Kutna
3,000
Hora,
images is a
you
massive
will
amount
not
of
find
assets.
this building because it was completely destroyed. And as a fun fact, no one, they don't know more or less, well, they don't know how it looked like, or they have some ideas, but they don't have facts. What they know is that there was an astronomical clock, but no one could tell us how it actually looked. So we took some famous
Creative
inspiration
liberties.
from Prague, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the Prague, it's a lot of some other even smaller clockwork, but yeah, it's one of the inspirations.
So let's hang the sword of the Kuttenberg guys here. Return to Menhard. So yeah, as Victor mentioned earlier, when there's no precise proof on how things could have looked like or how they look like, then we are trying to get our best, most educated guess, or at least to make it as plausible as possible. Okay, let's go back to Menhard. Can you dual wield? No. Is there going to be check synchronization? Yes, but I won't show it today. I will show it later this month on another occasion.
They did mention more.
Okay.
They mentioned a reveal coming in
Best game
December,
ever.
Combi.
Absolutely, thank
And
you.
given the fact that
All the
Exodus
children are
did a big
absolutely
reveal
in
at the
school.
last game
You know, the thing
awards
with
show,
children
I
is
would.
it's, again,
It's
mostly
a safe
technical
bet you're going to
reasons.
see
So
them
if you
again
have
in
children,
December
not
at the
only
Game
do you
Awards
have
show.
different, again, more clothes, more items, more animations, and so on. Are you able to
Dual
fight
wielding
them?
is mostly a
are they running
fantasy
away?
RPG thing,
Do
not
you get
a
a problem with age
medieval
rating and
reality.
so on. So there's so many things connected to having children in the game that it's unfortunately a very popular RPG decision to not have any of those in the game.
Or maybe a punt.
What do you want a boat for?
So let's go. Where's Menhard? Is he here somewhere? Oh, no, that's not Menhard.
Look out!
Menhard is probably in the pub somewhere inside. Or is he not? Let me see.
Oh, he's probably upstairs.
Oh, he's outside the street. Or is he... Oh, here he is.
But he was fit as a fiddle.
Stay
What
close
happened?
to
You, sir, lost your clothes, but it doesn't matter. Because
Bugs!
the town hall...
That's
the sword is in
awesome.
The town hall.
The sword is at the town hall.
Wunderbar, Heinrich. Let's go right now. It will not take long before the Gutenbergers hear of
That's
this.
awesome.
Sure, I'll go with you.
Natürlich. Just do not forget to pretend you are surprised.
Fucking thieves.
No, no. We can't take it back now. We'd look like fools.
Na, was haben wir denn hier?
But even
I
though it's a
see
bug,
the
it
Kuttenberg
makes total
Bruderschaft
sense that he's out here with
has
no
made a
shirt, like
challenge
flexing
to
on the other
combat.
swordmeisters. Let's roll with it.
So, I see you have
Oh, he's
endlich
clothed
worked up
again.
the courage to face us in public.
There's no need for mocking, Manhart. We've made our challenge, as you can see.
Wunderbar. Das freut uns.
Genau. We accept your challenge.
Well, since we've arrived at this point, listen up. It's time to put an end to this bickering. Besides, it will only benefit our town if the best of the sword-fighting masters takes charge here. So, whoever emerges as the victor of your tournament shall win the right to lead the sword-fighting brothership here. That will bring a just close to this whole affair.
Bei allen Heiligen, you have decided wisely, Fridush. It will be seen that it is we who were right from the start.
No way! You can't do this, Fridush. We set up the sword fighting brotherhood. Stay out of it.
Nah, we will not doubt the council, of
Menhard has
course.
a charter from the king. He's entitled to defend his right in combat.
You keep your mouth shut, you thief.
Calm yourself, friend. It's not such a big deal, is it? We'll compete honestly against these Germans, and then we'll finally have peace from them.
All right, Nicholas. Let's show them Deutschers how we sword fight here. Because we ain't afraid of no one. You want combat? You'll get it. 3 members of our brotherhood will fight with 3 of yours. Each will have a bout with all 3 opponents, and we'll see who wins the most.
Du Schwindler! You know there are only 2 of us.
I agree with Emeram's proposal.
Kein Problem, Arne.
Which means
we also
Henry
have one
has to-
promising student.
Yeah, Henry has
nicht
to get
wahr?
involved.
I would like to ask you guys, but because there's a tiny little bit delay and most of the questions are timed, as you can see, I can't wait for the responses, but
Richtig.
I'll help Arne,
Fight on
Menhard.
Menhard's side.
Gut, Heinrich.
I'm not a huge
Good.
fan of timed
Just what you'd
responses.
expect. Menhard making pacts with fucking
But-
thieves.
It's all good.
Was sagst du?
Excuse me?
Just that. Your little sticky-fingered Heinrich broke into our sword-fighting hall.
Now that's nothing but dirty slander. I never stole anything, you liar.
Pah! Swear it if you like. My conscience is clear, which is more than can be said for you.
You're telling the truth, Emeram.
Look at how much
I heard about
reputation
it
he's
too.
losing.
Nevertheless, the duels will go ahead.
I'm
with
getting
long
slandered in
swords.
public, man.
But because Henry committed a dishonorable deed against the Gutenberg Brotherhood, they shall be allowed.
But
an
with what
advantage.
proof?
The Gutenbergers may fight in halberds and steel helmets, and the Germans will face them only in gambeson.
That's fucking
Es ist
lame.
nicht gut, Menhard. Es ist ungerecht.
Moan all you like, Deutscher. You deserve it.
Keine Sorge, Arne. Wir können es schaffen.
Lame.
Agreed. Komm, Heinrich. We must prepare for the Fechten.
So it was loose.
So,
So, Heinrich, we will engage with these Kuttenbergers. Endlich! Danke. You arranged it for us. Aber schade that they have seen you doing it.
Yeah, but they
I'm
didn't
sorry,
see me.
Menhard. I did what I could.
Well, they didn't see Henry.
Is it going to make things difficult for you?
I need to know that that has a different outcome,
Yes.
because that felt
The Kuttenbergers
Not
will
just.
have light armor, but we must manage it. I am more disappointed that they will now know of our kleine Deceit. Aber nichts. We can only restore our good name by victory in combat.
You can count on me, Menhard. It will be an honor to fight by your side and enforce the will of our King Wenceslas.
Genau, Heinrich. But first, we must make you one of us and accept you into
one of
our
us.
Bruderschaft.
One of
All right.
us.
Is that a problem?
Nein, nein. You must only take an oath and undergo a test. We cannot just take everyone. That is our Regel. You must show that you have some skill with a Schwert and that you will not bring us shame in the Gefecht. So we know that you will not lose your life in combat.
surely that's not necessary. After all, I defeated you the first time we met, remember?
Na ja, you are right. Herrgott, you must have been sehr glücklich. But you fought well, yes? And you showed that you have some skill. So, we can receive you into our Bruderschaft sofort.
Menhard, I'd like to join your brotherhood.
Certainly. Let us go somewhere more geeignet, so it has some class.
Everybody likes a little bit of
Each
class.
new member must pay for acceptance. But in your case, since you have helped us, I will relieve you of that obligation.
Danke, Menhard.
And now, the oath. Arne will be the witness.
I will be honored.
Kneel, Heinrich. Hör gut zu. Do you solemnly swear that you shall act honorably and justly, and that you shall not bring shame upon your name or mine, or bring disgrace to the sword-fighting Bruderschaft, that you shall defend and adorn the reputation of the Bruderschaft and its rules, and that you shall heed my word in these matters, that you shall diligently train in the art of the Langschwert, and not allow yourself to be shamed in combat, that you shall thus act for the greater glory of our Bruderschaft and our martial art. Place your hand on this sword and swear.
Okay, now we can choose. Do we swear by the king, by the father, the blacksmith, or all the saints? 1, 2, 3. Father. 1, 2. King. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. By swear by father, the blacksmith.
By the memory of my parents.
By the memory of my
the soul
parents.
of my dear departed
There you
father,
go.
Martin, blacksmith and sword fighter.
That's a big oath,
I do so
knowing
swear.
Henry.
Stand as one of us. Heinrich, I hereby name you my student in the art of sword fighting.
All honor to you, Heinrich. It is good that you have come among us.
And now listen to your first lesson and always remember this principle. It is not important to strike, but to strike and wound.
I'll remember that, Menhard.
Gut, Heinrich. I shall make a great fechter out of you one day. Let me know when you are ready. We will get to work and cross swords with the Kuttenbergers.
Actually, I'm an idiot because when I was showing you how, the way how they found us was when I was trying to get there during day. Can you remember I was showing you the bunny thing? So I'm an idiot. If I wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have seen us. But on the other hand,
Oh,
it shows you that,
that's
as I said earlier,
why.
Quests do play differently according to what you do.
So he
now,
got
since they know
seen,
that it was
and he
us who
didn't
stole the sword,
resave the. He didn't
stupid
reload
me
again.
trying
He
to
just
show you
kept going
the
from
bunny
there,
icon,
and so
then they get the advantage of fighting in plate armor. If they wouldn't have found out, they would be too embarrassed to actually admit it, and they would be fighting. We would both be fighting.
I'm
in
glad
light
he
armor.
mentioned that because I was going, wait,
So I
you
think
didn't get
that's
caught,
quite cool. And if
but he
we-
did get
if
seen,
we
and he
are
didn't reload.
being, searched by the guards, then they would take the sword from us.
Today, 2 sword-fighting brotherhoods will match their skills. The Gutenberg Brotherhood, led by Master Nicholas.
Glory to Kuttenberg! Kick those Germans' asses, Emmeram!
And the Frankfurt Brotherhood, led by Master Menhard.
It is an honor to be able to show off our skill in front of the whole Kuttenberg.
God, the music is good.
The reason for these duels is the dispute over the right to run the local sword-fighting hall and the associated brotherhood. The local brotherhood was founded by Emmeram the Butcher and his associates. What they did not know, though, was that King Wenceslas had tasked Master Menhard to do the same.
The king ain't here, Emmeram is! The Brotherhood belongs to the Kuttenbergers!
And since King Wenceslas cannot resolve the dispute, the town council ruled it shall be decided through a duel. So, the matter shall be settled before the eyes of the council, as well as the burghers of Gutenberg and God Almighty.
A wise decision by the council. Let the best master lead our brotherhood.
The duels will be fought with longswords. The Frankfurt Brotherhood.
This reminds me of the
fight
tournament in
light
the first
armor.
game.
However, the Gutenberg Brotherhood will be granted the advantage of the halberd, because Henry here present aggrieves them with dishonorable behavior.
Nicht nötig. Armor or not, we are the better fechters.
You got a lot of nerve for a young pup.
Enough of this. You will have the opportunity to face off soon enough.
Each dueler will face each on the opposing team, and whoever beats his opponent twice wins the duel. The Brotherhood whose members get more victories will be declared the overall winner. As is the law, all the necessary armor was lent to you from the town armory, and you must fight in it. If there is anything wrong with the armor, you can fix it with any of the repair tools you'll find in the armorer's tent.
Nice.
And in case someone gets seriously injured, the bath maid will give them the care they need.
The bath maid.
Or Father Tobias will perform the necessary rites.
But I do not think it will come to that.
Now that everything has been made clear, swear before God. You will fight fairly, justly, and respect the judge's decisions, as well as the outcomes of the duels.
Das geloben wir im Namen des Vaters, des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes.
By God Almighty, we so swear.
They're all swearing the same
All
oath in their own
requisites have been
language.
satisfied. Therefore, let us proceed to the first duel. Master Menhart against Lindhart, the cobbler.
Let's go. So they will now start the fight together. As I said, again, don't worry the little bugs here and there. As I said, that's a build we are having from Gamescom, so chances are extremely high that most of the stuff is already fixed. It's just it was a very good stable one for streaming, so we use that one. Anyway, they are now fighting. As you know, most of all the NPCs are able to also fight. Obviously, we did a big change in the combat, so that not every enemy will be able to counter parry you and master strike you and so on. So there should be bigger variety and so on, and not everyone will do the super moves.
That's awesome.
But you can get a good guess of who's fighting by looking, or how they are fighting by looking. I will take, what should I take here? Sweet pancake, of course. And maybe a roasted chicken leg. Give it to me.
Now I'm hungry for some roasted chicken, man.
I will eat this and the sweet pancake. Hooray!
Today's first victory goes to Master Menhart. Let's see if he can keep it up, or if Lindhart can even the score. Get ready for the next round. Henry, your villainy disrupted the court dispute, and I therefore ban you from participating. But because you have broken the law as one of Menhart's duelists, your offenses also fall on him and his honor. I therefore declare the dispute settled in favor of the Gutenberg Brotherhood.
What
and
villainy?
You, Henry, will be punished according to the law by the guard.
Well, I screwed up. I don't know how I screwed up, but I screwed up.
Loitering around where you shouldn't have.
I wonder if he got...
And I've received reports of things going missing.
Oh, is it the food?
Idiots. You've been accused of theft. You'll pay a fine.
That's got to be a
And if I
bug.
don't find those things on you, you'll pay for them too.
I said surrender.
All right, I'll pay. I don't want any trouble.
Now, let's have a look at what you
Yeah, what did he steal?
Show me the goods.
It's got to be the food.
And if
It's
I
got to be
find
bugged.
anything else on you that doesn't belong to you, I'll confiscate that too.
Genesis, turkey
Good.
legs.
You don't have anything
I'm
else
hungry
on
for a
you
turkey
that
leg
doesn't
now, too.
belong to you.
It's time
In
to go to
that
the
case,
Renfail.
An indulgence will suffice. Now, be on your way.
Confiscated.
Funny. Okay, let me see. With maybe I have maybe that one. That one could be. Let's try Telemanhunt. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Maybe we can save the situation.
Now that's a nice little thumbnail
Yeah,
right there.
1,800
I think I'm going to be
is really
spending some
hard.
time in the
We need
bathhouse.
we need the cash. But you get the bathhouse you wanted to see earlier, right? So it has something. Let's try again in fast forward mode.
Jenna says we have the
And see
Renfail
if
this
we can
weekend.
this time
Nice. I used to go to the one in
win.
Colorado every year.
Or
And I was part of the
win
SCA
fair
for
and
a lot of
square- well,
years.
fair
That's
and
where I
square
learned archery
stealing without
and
anyone
fencing
noticing us.
and leatherworking and sewing.
But it's life, and life things happen sometimes. Don't worry. As
What's
I
up,
said,
Brett?
very early build still, and these are really minor things that should be gone already. In the meantime, we will have a wonderful night stroll again through the city of Kuttenberg. By the way, whenever we are mentioning Kuttenberg, everyone's like so focused that one map is Trotsky Castle and the other map is really only the city Kuttenberg. But Kuttenberg, honestly, is just a very tiny part of the entire map. So if you
Yeah, it
look
was a pretty big
around,
drive
Kuttenberg
too.
is
From I used to live
big,
in Greeley,
as you can see.
and
Suchdol, oh my god. And
if I remember correctly,
but
it was like
still,
a
it's just a
4-hour
tiny-
drive down south every year.
well, on the map size,
But it was great because
a
you just go
tiny
down and go
place
camp out for 2
in,
days and
the entire map. So let's try
have
again.
fun.
And this time, hope for the best. Hop, 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 hop.
Maybe heavy
Cabo
torch.
says what?
Oh, that's a good
Quibble.
point.
Sorry, it's Quibble.
Also didn't
I
check
gotta
if there's
remember how it's
someone
pronounced
here.
this time around. Why does it not be
That's a
surprise me
torch.
that you remember the SCA? I was
Sneaky
from
sneak.
the time I was 17 until I was
So,
about
let's try
20.
again. And let's this time.
So I started off at the SCA in
undetected.
Missouri. Maybe
So,
like 16, 17, and then I ended up in the SCA in Colorado.
But as you could see, the game makes much more autosaves than it did in KCD1, which is also, I think, good news generally.
That is good news
We
about the
still have
autosave.
the save system with the Savior
Shaver
Schnapps, so
Schnapps,
if you
perfect.
want to manually save the game, you have to use that item, that potion. But, oh, nice. At least the dude is not here standing anymore. That's a good sign.
I thought he was right
So
there by the
hope for
door.
the best. So if you manually save, you still have that minimum amount we want you to invest this potion, and but so now from the feedback from KCD1,
What is Renfail?
we
A
learned, of course, that
Renaissance
it's
festival?
like
Renaissance
it's a system
fair?
that has a lot of lovers, a lot of haters.
It's essentially,
but,
depending on where you
we stand
live,
by the design
Combi,
decision
there
we did
are
there. So you still have to do that, but in order to make it
basically
a little
they're
bit more
like 3-day events,
usable,
and they usually
let's
take
say.
place at a
Because in KCD1,
specified
when you needed
location,
the savior the
and it's a
save
big
potion
Renaissance
most,
festival where people show up in costumes.
It was hardest to come
and
by. It was
they have
not easy to craft.
you know,
it was
fake
extremely
tournament
expensive,
between the
it was very- you
nights,
could
and there's
rarely
taverns
find it and so
and
on. So this is something
food
that
and
will be different now. It will be easier to come by.
lots of shows
and,
that you can go
will
watch where
get-
you have
will get it
jugglers
on
and
your hands
bards
easier,
and
but as I said,
fire
we
breathers
still want you
and
to have that minimum invest of good point, very good. Thank you guys. Torch. No, that would be a shame if they would stop me and check me out for.
So
for
since he
goods
just
now.
redid this, he didn't get
But
caught
yeah,
this time.
We want that minimum invest of having.
Yeah,
that,
the joust. They have
savior
the
potion,
joust
so
at the end of every
that
day.
stays in the game. Okay, we're almost there. Running like. the
Oh,
way- like
okay.
running
You guys
like
don't
the
have it
wind.
there
Better don't.
in South Africa. Yeah, it's
for
also
anyone.
in some states.
And let's see. This should be better.
Some certain states in the United States also have like permanent Renaissance festivals, which are kind of like, I don't know what you would call it, like it's like an
The problem
attraction,
was really not
and
that
they have like a
the
full-time
armor.
staff, and they just
The
every
problem
single
was that they
day
saw me
you can
committing some
go,
crime, and
but
I
that's
guess the
not
crime
everywhere.
system still
Most
triggered,
of the time, it's
but
like
this
an
should be
annual thing that
gone
happens,
now.
and there's a group of
No bunny,
like people who participate
crime,
in the different Renaissance
no
festivals
witnesses,
around the United States, and
and
so
no
they
killing.
travel
Manhunt wanted us
to
not
different
kill anyone.
states
That's
because
also
they all
very
do things at a
important,
different time of year.
Because otherwise, we all know.
So you'll have like
Henry
bands
is a
who are like
silent killer.
minstrels, and they'll
Smooth
travel
killer.
from fair to fair and festival to festival for a few months out of the year and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Janet, the one in Colorado is every year. like August or September or
Let's
something.
just
I
hope for
forget
the
when.
best. Sorry, don't mind me.
Yeah, and turkey legs are a big thing.
Okay.
Also beer and
Almost
sausage and like medieval food.
Almost. Too stupid to push the right buttons. Let's time skip to the morning and let's try again. So, about killing with no witnesses. Actually, the crime system got improved a lot,
crafting
so,
demonstrations.
when they do not
How to
see
make
you
armor, how to
directly
make
committing a
swords.
crime, then of course, this was also already part of KCD1. They will have problems to tie it towards you. However, I fall down the stairs. But if you commit a lot of crimes in a specific area, and no one knows it was you, then the area will generally get more vigilant. The people will start carrying weapons around. They will. The skill checks will be trickier. Let's see if we have clothes now at least.
Fucking thieves. No. We can't take it back now. We'd look like fools.
I love the fact that they showed off everything here, including the bug.
Okay,
So it's
we
not
saw
just
that
like
already, so let's skip it.
a perfect demonstration.
Worked up the courage to face us in public.
There's no need.
Wunderbar.
Yeah.
Since we listen up.
Yeah.
Besides, it will only be so. Whoever
Also at the
will
Renaissance
see
festivals, you can usually buy people's goods. So if they make knives or they make swords or they make leather or clothing, you can buy those things from them. It won't be cheap, but
Man, that's right. I want to see the
Calm yourself.
dialogue.
All right,
It will be
Nicholas.
different now.
Let's show them Deutschers how we sword fight here. Because we ain't afraid of no one. You want combat? You'll get it. 3 members of our brotherhood.
Your Schwindler.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
Kein Problem. We
Okay.
also have one.
skip,
Okay, yes,
skip,
I'll help
skip.
you.
Agreed then. The duels will begin when you're all ready.
See?
Long
So
swords and
now it worked, and now we will all fight only in Gambesons, which is pretty cool.
We'll crush
So you
them
can see
Deutschers in a jiffy.
tiny
You have no chance,
tiny
King
changes in the questing can lead to bigger. Tiny changes in the questing can lead to bigger changes than in the world, kinda. This also is, if you remember, I won the first fight against Menhard, and only because of that, he immediately accepts me into his sword fighting school. If we wouldn't have won the first fight, then he would want us to fight Arne first, who is his apprentice, and we would have to show first that we're able to fight in his name and for his honor. I'm skipping really quickly. Of course, this makes the camera all go wonky, but don't worry, that's just a minor thing. Yeah. And you can see there we are both fighting in Gambesons now.
But I do not.
Yeah. All good. Let's just fight. And I will this time better not take any chicken leg or nothing.
Don't fuck it out.
So let's fight, gentlemen.
Excuse me.
Do it.
For the glory of Gutenberg!
For
the glory of all.
Let the duel begin. Oh, probably I should save. That's a good point.
You got some Dutch courage. Alcohol has boosted some of your stats, but if you drink too much, you will start to weaken. You can also get addicted.
For Gondor, exactly. You wanted to kill me for a chicken wing, exactly. I still would take it. The bunny is back, don't worry, this bunny is fine. What I was worried about was the red gate on the top left, which is not there. So the searching bunny is fine. I just need to win, Menhard to win. The roasted chicken leg looks so good.
I know.
So much.
It does look good.
Oh, you
Goes
won.
to Master Menhard. Let's see if he can keep
was
it
much
up.
quicker
Or if
with the armor.
Linhard
Yes,
can even the
it was
score.
much quicker without the armor, exactly.
Get ready for the next round.
That's a good
Because,
point.
of course,
So
as I said
the
earlier,
opponent wasn't
the
wearing armor
NPCs
this
are
time,
using the
so
same mechanics as you do. So if they fight in armor, it's harder to wound them. If they attack spots that are without armor, then you do greater harm and so on.
That's
so
cool.
This is all in there and all calculated. And they can do all the tricks, of course. And as I said earlier, not everyone can do all the tricks. He said sorry and he got whacked anyway.
Behold, Master Menhart proved his mastery.
And of course they can lose as well. This is not a scripted thing, so let's see how everything turns out.
Its first victory.
It was the question about white screens. Can you comment?
About what?
So they said it's not scripted, so your guys could lose. That's interesting.
Well, we do. But again, please be patient about that. This is all a performance thing, and this is something we do at the end. But Dan Vavra and Victor are playing both and testing both on widescreen, so now we didn't appreciate it how I showed off my super sword here.
But regardless of the performance, the UI especially was designed with white screens.
So UI scaling, that's good.
It's even better.
Oh, you put the sword away.
I put the sword away.
Ah!
Sorry, sir.
Panic! I've done that before. Panic!
I wanted to change direction so quickly. Dude, no problem at all. Absolutely no problem. I'm just too good against him. And look how wounded he is already.
It looks like it is, Brett, and they've talked about improving the combat system a lot from the
Maybe
first
he just
game.
wants to go to the bathhouse. Because the chat wants to go to the bathhouse. I saw that already.
Of course the chat wants to go to the bathhouse. They want to see.
No time to lose.
They want to see boobies.
Less talking, more killing. One attack to the head. And then stabbity stab. Come on, dude. Dude is wounded already. Yeah, no problem at all. Easy.
Who's the better sword fighter again?
Yeah.
That makes the second victory for the Frankfurt Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I did find the combat got a little bit more responsive in the first game after I got better at swordcraft, Brett. Because in the early stages, you suck so bad. It sucks to get into combat. But then after you get some hours in with the trainer, it felt a little better.
He's fighting now, I guess.
But it does look much better here. And they've talked in this game how the different weapon types have completely different feelings now. So you'll be able to really refine your combat style based on what type of weapon you want to play with. Whether it's a mace or a polearm or the sword.
Better than Linhart. Because his opponent will once more be Master Menhart.
Uh-huh. Let's do more fighting. Oh yeah, so about the tournament. Of course, this one is now a tournament that is happening in a quest. But of course, as you know, the tournaments in Rathai, then Kutna Hora will also have them, as you can see here right now. So tournaments will be a thing as well in the game. Don't expect jousting. I can already crush all your houts. Jousting will not be a thing.
There's no jousting
at all. So the tournament is a thing that is focused on sword fighting mainly, or well, melee fighting mainly. But you know, everyone wants jousting, but I think that it's maybe a little bit like Quidditch in the Harry Potter game. I think that's a game for itself, kinda.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, they're insulting each other too as they're fighting.
Well, there will be some kind of rhythm. I can't tell you from the top of my head, but there will be, of course, some kind of rhythm, and you can be part of that. Yeah, the bunnies actually are they are more successful, more famous than we thought at the beginning. And as a matter of fact, there's several team members who got a bunny tattoo right now.
A bunny tattoo.
I think that should be. We should create plushies or something, and have the KCD rabbits. Yeah, pole in the way. I'm sorry. It's a tent, okay? So maybe here. Okay, Menhart won again. Yeah, PC requirements, I talked about this earlier. That is something that we are working on right now, but as I said, don't get scared about that. We are all gamers here. We are all geeks and gamers at Warhouse Studios, and we want this to run smooth and butterly. So it will be on common settings, I'm sure. So nothing to be scared about. But
I still have to
think
decide
by
if
the
I'm
end
gonna
of
play
the
this on the
month or so, we
PlayStation or
will
the
be able to
Xbox.
tell you. But that is something we're working on right now. How many % the game is ready? Well, that's a tricky question. Theoretically,
I
it's
played the first one on the
100% ready,
PlayStation
but,
5, and I can tell you I got
feature-wise
massive thumb
and,
fatigue
and
after
stuff
that
from
because
the
of how
beginning.
intense the
But
combat
the reality
is.
that what we are
So I
doing
may end
right
up playing it
now
on the Xbox just to keep down on my thumb
bug fixing,
fatigue.
mainly,
Plus, I'm
and
going to be
optimization.
balancing
So you
this
saw
with
a few bugs
Avowed,
here.
which is
I
also
think
going to be on the
the
Xbox.
visual ones are not.
So I may just keep them both on the Xbox, so I'm not
Yes,
having to.
I mean,
I don't know.
visual
Well,
bugs
I'll make
are
the
nasty,
decision
but
later.
not a huge problem. The way worse bugs are ones that are crashing your games or whatever. So those need absolutely be gone. So that is
Yeah, the haptic is.
priority number
I
one,
may
to
do
have
it just
not
for the
those
haptic.
annoying bugs in there, but just a few.
But I do have to worry about thumb fatigue.
As least as possible.
Will face Master Nicholas.
And basically, you can
Soon
play
we'll
the
find out
games
if Nicholas
you
can
will
secure
when
the
it's
first
released.
victory for the
Just jump in,
Gutenbergers.
start the first quest, and finish the game in a couple of.
Okay, now the
And I'm
third
really
of our
torn
team is
because
fighting against the
Avowed
sword
just announced that you
master
can pre-order
of
with
the
5
other
days
school.
head start access, which is like, I love Obsidian. Do I do that? Because then I would play this game
Ready?
on the 11th,
Go for it.
and I'd play it for 2 days, and then get into Avowed if I buy the 5 days of head start access, and then just start balancing these games and playing like 3 or 4 hours of Kingdom Come Deliverance in the morning and 3 or 4 hours of Avowed. The difference is that Kingdom Come Deliverance is like going to be probably twice as long as Avowed is going to be. I anticipate Avowed will be a 40-hour gameplay, maybe 50, whereas this will probably be closer to 80 to 100, I would anticipate. Either way, February is going to be a jam-packed month for us.
Watch out. He's coming round.
What's up? What's up?
Zum Teufel.
Así parezco listo.
And the victor
Ajo,
is...
Nine!
Papa. Apio. Europollo. Okay, gracias.
Mit der Hilfe Gottes. I will continue.
You're brave, but foolish. This will not end well for you. Yield.
Niemals. Anne does not yield.
Yeah, Stalker 2 is going to be good. What's it, 4 more days, I think? This poor guy's going to die.
This Gefecht is over. You win.
You acted with chivalry, Master Menhart. But intervening in a duel is a breach of the rules. There is no choice but to disqualify you from the tourney.
Uh-oh.
How does it look?
He's badly shaken up, but that should improve in time. At first, I thought I'd have to send for the priest, but he had more luck than sense.
Yeah, she does. She's doing some voodoo witchcraft on him, but don't worry, that's missing animation there. But as I said, it's an early build, so that's not the point. She will actually check his limbs and everything. So once this is done, this will look really cool.
He'll get his sight back in that eye, but I can't say for sure.
I'm happy that they show the glitches, because way too many companies only show you the super polished shit. This is only their second game, so I mean,
Rest assured,
it's very
Master
impressive.
Menhart, we will send for him as you command. I am sorry that the whole affair has taken such an unfortunate turn. I will pray for your companion's health.
Danke, Fridusch. But what about the duels?
Beruhige dich, Arne.
Yes, that's what I came here to clarify. However, I expect on account of Arne's injury, your brotherhood has forfeit the fight.
Nein, Menhard. Du musst keep fighting.
February 11th, I believe, is the launch date, United. Continue, guys.
1-1-1, of course, right? Henry the Savior.
Menhard and me can continue.
Heinrich had recht. I want to duel Nicholas.
I understand your wish, Menhard, but I can't grant it. You've been disqualified.
2 combo breaker.
Scheiß drauf. I will fight Nicholas, and you better get out of my way, Fridusch.
I'm warning you, Menhard. You swore to respect the results of the duels.
Verdammt!
Listen, Nicholas has defeated Arne, and Arne is in no shape to continue. So all 3 victories go to the Kuttenbergers. Menhard, you defeated Emmeram and Linhard, but you can't duel Nicholas. So 2 victories belong to you, and 1 to the Kuttenbergers. The only one who can still fight for you is Henry.
Oh,
He
better
already
not fuck it up,
defeated
Henry.
Linhard. So the score is 3-4 in favor of the Kuttenbergers, with 2 duels left.
Hold on, Fridusch. Arne could duel, but it's clear he wouldn't win. So all the victories here belong to the Kuttenbergers by right. But the only thing preventing Menhard from fighting is your decision. Otherwise, he's at full strength and ready.
That is true.
We swore we'd respect outcomes of the duels, but since there was no duel between Menhard and Nicholas, there is no outcome. So neither side can claim victory.
Wise words, I must admit.
The way I see it, both sides have 3 victories, and I have 2 duels left.
That sounds right and fair to me.
All right, so be it. So if Henry beats both Emmeram and Nicholas, you'll get the overall...
It's all on
victory.
Henry's shoulders now.
Heinrich, fight for us. You are ein guter Fechter.
Also, Heinrich, our
500
fate
EQ,
and our
Henry.
honor lies in your hands.
Okay. May fortune
I hope
favor
Lady
me.
Fortune will favor me today.
Well said. I'll be waiting for you in the arena.
No,
where
it's the
you'll
same voice
face
actor.
Emmeram. So get ready quickly.
Same voice
take care
actor
of
for
Arne,
Henry.
I'll
Henry,
take
not
care
Henry.
of the
Here
Same
ye,
voice
here
actor for
ye.
Henry as well as his
Arne the
his
German
buddy,
can't take part in further duels due
Arne
to
whose
his
name I'm
injury.
forgetting.
Sounds like
So
a wrestling
3
name.
wins
They just
go
I
to
just did
Kuttenberg.
the live reaction to
The
their
Frankfurt Brotherhood has won
they did
3
a-
rounds.
they did a live
but so
action
has Kuttenberg.
buddy comedy skit
Master
last week
Menhard
in
cannot duel
Kuttenberg, the
against
real town of
Master
Kuttenberg,
Nicholas
to promote the
since
game.
he's been
It's Henry and the
disqualified
other guy,
from
and I can't
further
remember the other guy's character's name.
Their
It's Henry
duel
and
will not count
Hans.
at all.
I think it's Hans.
That leaves us with only 2 duels left. In the first, Henry will now face Emmeram. Contenders, get to it.
Man, I hope you saved.
Think, we should, at this point, get to a little stop. We will not tell you how this duel goes.
No!
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Oh, no
There were
spoilers!
some spoilers, but the end of the tournament is kind of open. I can tell you already, depending on how the thing will be ending.
All right.
The quest will again be different. Menhard might move into town, for instance. If you lose, things will happen differently. So again, as I said, tiny things in the game can change quests, and this was just a side quest, and we are playing for, let me see, for
hour and a half.
almost 2 hours already. One side quest. Well, of course, I had to redo a little part, and I was looking around a lot, but you can see that the games and the questing in KCD2 will be really hefty and chunky. I think you can easily say it's like a 80 to 100 hours game easily without any DLCs in mind.
80 to 100
so it will be
hours.
a huge game. A lot of
Without
things for
any
you to
DLC.
discover, a lot of things for you to play with. Is there anything that you are still want to know, I think we covered most of the questions in the chat. As I said, the optimization is something we're doing right now. So PC specs will come a tiny little bit later.
Yeah, so it's going to be about double the size of Avowed. So
how it will actually look
like I said, I'm not getting any sleep in
you will
February,
see
guys.
in the game. I was talking about the
I
collector's
really
edition
hope
that is still available, unfortunately only in the United States. So,
I really hope they sell
well,
like
if
it would
you're
be
lucky,
cool if they
maybe you
sell
can
some
find
sort
them
of early
somewhere in
access
Europe
so I can have a
still,
few
but
more days of head start before
unfortunately,
Avowed
they
comes
were-
out because
well,
I'm just gonna
good
be.
for us, they were sold out really quickly.
I've never
but
done
good-
two
but
games
for
at the
you,
same time. I know
of
Co
course,
Carnage
for
does
those
two
who
games at the
didn't
same time a lot, sometimes
get the
3
chance
games at
to
the
get
same
any,
time.
but there's still a few
I usually
available
try
in
to
the
only do
United
one
States
game at a
on the
time and just
GameStop
give myself
and,
2 weeks to clear each
Final
game.
Boss
So this
Bundle,
is
I
going to be
think is the
hard for
name.
me because
Uh,
I'm going to be doing like 4 hours
voice
of
lines
one and 4
generated,
hours of another, or 3
according
and
to the
3,
duels
something
you
like that.
said. It was so quick, I didn't see it. Would the game use KCD1 saves for minor details? No. So the saves and all the... So the thing that will be carried over are some skills from Henry. So, of course, he's still able to read. He will not magically forget this all of a sudden or something like that.
I think
This is
Babylonia
still
asked this earlier.
a thing, but we kind of move the... how should I say it?
Like, shouldn't
the
Henry
scale
already know
to the
some of
right.
these things?
So, I always say that
So Henry will already know how to
in
read.
KCD1 was kind of the champion of the Sunday League at the end of the game. So he was like, he was a good fighter, somewhat. He was able to fight off most of the bandits and were able to have some tougher fights. However, now in KCD2, he's going on the bigger stages with armies involved, with kings involved, with way bigger things on stake.
Stakes.
So he still knows how to fight, but he has to, of course, hone his skills and develop even further. So he doesn't magically forgets everything. He just has to continue growing and learning stuff. Okay, anything else? Blacksmithing, of course, big thing in the game. I don't have anything to show you yet. Yeah, the voice lines are changing according to what's happening in the game, of course, and also you saw that earlier when they saw us stealing the sword, and the dialogues was different. The dialogue was different, and the tournament itself was different. So yes, it's all depending on what's going on in the game. Different endings. So you know the thing about KCD 1 and 2, it's not so important. The ending is not that important. Well, of course the ending is important. Everyone wants to get to the end and find out how everything ends. However, what is way more important, I believe strongly in KCD, is the way how you get there. So it's not about there's 15 endings waiting for you and now you have to get the best one, and only if you play this way you will get the good ending. It's really more about how you go through the game, how you decide, and how the world unfolds in front of you. Not everything, of course, is reacting strongly on your decisions, but in many cases, in quests, for instance, Henry will put into a position, into huge crossroad decisions where he has to decide if we attack this thing, then something bad will happen to my crew and to the mission. But if we do something different beforehand, which might be a very terrible thing to do, then the crew will be safe. However, innocence will suffer. So Henry will put into a decision, of course, also in these inner conflicts. And I think that is also really cool that Henry now in KCD1 grew from boy to man, and now in KCD2 has to grow from man to warrior. Not a hero. Henry is still good old Henry. However, he gets put onto the bigger stage.
Yeah, the stakes are higher because now it's not just him. It's him and other people.
What's the maximum edition for pre-order? Gold edition, I guess. Well, collector's edition, but you can't get that anymore. But the gold edition, which is the base game and all the upcoming DLCs. I think there's already. We mentioned that there's. I can't remember. There's 3 paid DLCs and some free stuff as well.
Well, I'll be getting the gold edition.
Kind of the same. Let's say. Thinking behind the DLC plane as we had in KCD1. So I think if you know how much energy and brain work we put into the DLCs, then you can expect cool things that will be game changers as well. They will always bring some either new characters, new mechanics, new features, something really that is out of the ordinary, and I think that's pretty cool. And if you have the gold edition, which by the way, I was looking down the numbers and I saw that there's the vast majority of everyone who pre-ordered is gold edition. So
it makes sense because you already know you're going to love the game,
if I may say
so.
By the way, I see
you already know that you're going to want to play the DLCs.
So
I would much rather get a discounted cost.
Go wishlist the game,
for
if
all
you're
in
not
one.
Sure yet, then of course don't
then have
pre-order
to
if you don't want to. But
single
if you want to, feel free.
Purchase the
Wishlisting would
DLCs
be
as they
great.
come out later on.
You know,
for
it's
like
a number that
25,
always
30 bucks a
helps.
pop.
You can use it if you
just give it to
in
me all
discussions
for
with partners or
$100 bucks
publishers
or whatever.
So that is good. There's questions about Teresa. Generally, I can't tell you anything about the characters in the game. So, of course, the plot. Let's say it that way. There will be many characters.
We are rolling over to Dragon Age: The Veilguard after this, everybody. There's still about 10 minutes left here. Then we'll be taking a brief pause for me to go check with Chris, take a bio, and then we'll come back and we're going to continue our playthrough of Dragon Age: The
There are some
Veilguard.
really great characters.
Of course
some
there are.
of my favorite characters are...
Yes, Brett. Most people who are going to pre-order this game have probably already played the first one
many of
and
them already in
the
trailers
DLC, so
and
they're
the
already
videos we
fans.
released.
So it makes sense that's what
It
their
will-
pre-orders are showing.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. So, maybe tiny spoiler. So, in KCD1, you are most of the time playing alone, right? So Henry is going through the forest, killing humans, doing quests or whatever. Now in KCD2, you are not alone anymore because Henry, as he's being dragged into those bigger problems and into these like bigger situations.
This is good to know.
Henry will really quickly find out that he can't deal with the problems by himself anymore. That he needs friends and he needs a crew. It's not like a companion thing like Skyrim or whatever. It's more, think of it more like Red Dead Redemption with the camp, right? Where you have the different
That's great to
interesting
hear.
characters and they will want, and you're going on quests with them every now and then.
That's
But
cool.
you have to gather that group. You have to.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, be part of them. You are
I
not
love the
leader
fact
of
that he just
group, you're
mentioned that Red Dead Redemption
chess
2 is like
piece
one of my
on a-
favorite
on a
games of all
board,
time.
But it's interesting that you will have to be in contact with those people, and I think that's really cool. And that is what Victor mentioned. There's so many extremely well written and interesting characters. One of them we saw in the 25 minutes gameplay video we released not long ago. You know, the Polish dude that was hanged on the cow. So. Fun fact about him, he's speaking Polish in all the voiceover versions we have. So in the English one, German one, and so on and so on. He's always talking Polish. No one understands him, but he kind of understands everyone.
That's a great little feature,
Will
though.
there be difficulty settings? No, of course not. We never did that. We are thinking of some form of hardcore mode again, but there's no precise plans about that
So
yet.
there's a base difficulty, and you've just got to
No
get
de
good.
novo. I talked about this. There won't be any de novo. And
You gotta
let's
get
please
good,
spread
kids.
the word, and let's not talk about this anymore because that's kind of ridiculous. I think.
Get
if you know us,
good.
then you know us, and you should know better, guys. Ray tracing. We are using some CryEngine ray tracing, something like an in-house how do you say that? Some CryEngine stuff. So it's not
I don't like that
ray
word either,
tracing as
sir.
what you
Proprietary.
might, think. GOG, that would be great. That's at least we're trying that, of course. God, there's so many questions. You're way too fast.
There was one which was directed to me, and I will
Yeah.
answer if you...
Sure.
It's interesting one regarding the mud on the streets, and I saw there were some YouTube videos after we shown some of the first footage of the game, and people were complying that the streets should be street, and it's just not true for what we know. We simply didn't found any evidence about pavement of any kind being in Gutenberg City in that era, and we believe the lot of effort and money was thrown on the facades of the buildings, so everyone had their private property nice and clean, and a lot of effort spent there. But the streets, we kind of believe they should look how they look in the game in Gutenberg City. So maybe some cities on the west, like Paris or London, much richer, older, it may be different, but in that time, in that city, we are pretty like sure with this decision.
Cool. And with that, I would say, oh yeah, there was a question also before if there will be more castles than just Kuttenberg. So Kuttenberg is not a castle, it's a city. But of course there will be castles, there will be more fortifications, especially, so the first map is the Trotsky map, kinda, we call it Trotsky map. It has the central Trotsky castle with those huge towers left and right, and this is a more rural area, let's say, deep forests, huge sandstone formations and these kind of stuff, so very green, yeah. And the other map is Kutno-Horsko, which means that actually the area of Kuttenberg. You saw in the game when we showed you that Kuttenberg was just a tiny spot on the bottom right of the map. Of course, there's more fortifications. There's some castles. There's some villages and so on. So quite cool. And there's a lot of stuff to venture to, and yeah.
And there's DLSS and FSR both in the settings.
Yeah, DLSS and FSR is both in the settings. We played without today. Performance mode for console. As I said, we are right now working on the performances, and that includes all the platforms. So give us a little bit more time to put our mind to ease, to find out finally. But I think by the end of the year we should know and let you know how things works, and how we will, of course, once we know for sure, then we will let you know. Collect edition in future, yeah, well, maybe. So we had in KCD 1, we had also several collector's editions. I can't promise you at this moment. Of course, as I said, there will be an art book at some point, there will be a vinyl at some point, and so on and so on. Maybe we will repack this stuff somehow at some point, but yeah, that's a bit hard to say. You said there wouldn't be guns, though there were guns. There are guns in the game.
Very rudimentary
guns.
guns.
A misunderstanding. So there are early gunpowder weapons in the game. I didn't have them today, but there are early gunpowder weapons
also
in the
a
game.
crossbow.
You have to manually load them and everything. They're quite clunky to use. However, they're pretty powerful, pretty much one-shots. However, don't think of KCD now becoming a shooter. Absolutely not. It's
somebody out there is going to make that comparison.
Right? So you have that.
They betrayed their roots. They're no longer a medieval life sim. They've got
then
guns.
You change into your melee weapon and you fend off the others. Or because you have this Batman belt now, where you can put different weapons. I think 4 slots are there, right? So you can have 4 weapons mounted on that belt, so you can quickly. So that is that's some of the quality of life improvements we did in KCD2.
Like a
So
blunderbuss?
first of all,
Sounds like
you
it,
can
yeah.
change armor sets. I didn't show that earlier, maybe the next time when we are streaming. So it's not like
They are going to be doing another stream on Tuesday, everybody. The 19th.
You should.
So I plan on, hopefully, it should be at like 10 o'clock in the morning my time. So I think we'll actually watch that one live together.
When you are roaming the streets or when you're inside
this
combat,
one I didn't know
played, as
when this
said,
aired.
Today on
I don't know how I
gamepad,
missed it,
and by pushing left
but
on
this
the
morning
D-pad,
they aired.
the,
this showed up on their YouTube channel this
Batman
morning,
belt
so
and
we're
choose the
watching the
different
YouTube
weapons.
version.
Something like a quick slot or quick changing menu. It's pretty cool. So you can, as I said, have the loaded weapon in there, shoot someone, and then change quickly to a sword or something without opening your inventory, which is pretty cool.
It takes ages to learn.
Yeah, suddenly people are like, they've made it into a Call of Duty game?
Falconry, no. What about GeForce Now support? I don't know, honestly. I don't think so. Maybe yes. I don't know at this point, unfortunately. Can you new animations? Oh yeah, new animations. So it's so wash the face stuff, of course, but it's a tiny thing. In KCD 1, when you were washing the face, you had that black screen and it says you are fresh as it can be. Now you have this little animation when you will eat from the pot, then you will actually have food on the little spoon, which is also cute, right? It's the tiny things that probably no one of you will ever notice, but for us it means the world to have all those details in there. HUD visibility options like hiding the health and compass, not the way how you describe it. You can't toggle them on and off. At least not as it is right now. Will you show teaser from Czech dubbing? Actually, yes. So at the end of the month in November, we will be at MČR, Mistrovství České republiky in video gaming, and there we will be the championship of video gaming in Czech Republic. We will have a tiny little booth there, and we will show KCD in Czech voiceovers.
He actually posted, I think yesterday or the day
New
before,
melee weapons.
on Twitter X his schedule from like now until January, and he's like on the road full time for promotion, like press. It's just one conference after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. So he's about to be just swamped promoting this game.
Crossbows and the early gunpowder weapons. But also the crossbows, for instance, have variety, so you can have a light one, medium one, and heavy one. They all play differently, they behave differently, they have different loading times, while the easy crossbow you can load pretty much by hand. For the heavy one you need this lever already that is like turning. You have to put it on the ground and wheel the string in, and
this is
takes a
really
while.
realistic.
So
that's
again,
cool.
Shows you that if you want to have the like super powerful super weapon, then it comes with a downside.
And there is really, you mentioned it earlier where we spoke about combat, and there is a lot of difference in between, even between short sword, hunting sword, and saber. All these three weapons, if they seem like the same category, but each of them plays a little bit differently. So.
Okie dokie. I think that's it. It's 2 hours and 55 minutes. 1 hour and 55 minutes. That was a very long session. I would like to thank you everyone for being here with us. We will try and stream more often, so I can't promise you yet exactly when this is going to be, but I have a feeling that it will be quite soon. So thank you very much for being with us. I hope you like what you see, what you saw, and stay vigilant, stay medieval, be good guys, and remember, fortune favors the brave. Take care.
Bye.
All right. We will, of course, be playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 when it comes out on February 11th, 2025. I have yet to decide whether I'm doing it on the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but it will be on one of the consoles, probably PS5, just so that I can split it up because Avowed's going to be on the Xbox, so I'll probably just, split my time between the two machines. But this will be one of the main games for the month of February when we get to that point, and I will, of course, be covering footage up until that point. They do plan on having a... Let me go confirm this really quick. I'm going to go over to my Twitter. And it's Warhorse Studios. Gather round Curious Lot on Tuesday, November 19th at 6 p.m. CET, 9 a.m. PST. So Toby, who is the host of this, will be returning for a second Dev Livestream, joined by a special guest. Here, let me pull this up and bring this over to the other tab. Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, which actually I think is 11 a.m. my time. So because I'm on Central Time now. So Tuesday morning on the 19th, we will be watching this live together. That'll be our last day of Dragon Age the Veilguard, and then Wednesday is Stalker 2. So for those of you who have been waiting for that playthrough, we're going to be getting ready for that as well. But we're going to continue to cover anything that these guys have got because this is going to be our main game, one of our main games in February. So obviously we're going to be covering all the things related to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So follow along. If you're watching this as part of the stream, we are going to take a brief break here for me to take a bio. check in with Chris because she went and got some supplies to make chicken soup today, and she had some questions about ingredients and stuff for the soup that I'd asked for. And then we're gonna start our Dragon Age Veilguard playthrough for the day. So if you've been waiting for that, we're about to get into that. If you're watching this after the fact over on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams, of course, every single day on YouTube and Twitch. So we see you bright and early every morning. Usually I start around 8 a.m., but some days I start earlier. You just need to make sure you're following along in all the places so that you never miss an update when I go live. In the meantime, we're going to head out from here and get prepped for the other game, everybody. So let's go ahead and make sure that I've got the Xboxes open. We can get this plugged in over here. Get this maximized. Dun, 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 dun.